Welcome agents, today I want to go over all of the weapon, gear and skill menus I've been able to gather from all of the Division 2 videos released within the last week. Now there was quite a lot here, and of course it's all subject to change, but you are going to see some very interesting stuff that you've probably not seen before. So if you enjoy this video, please hit the like button below and subscribe for dedicated Division and Division 2 content, and with that said, let's do this. Okay, so I'm just going to let all of the screenshots play in the video and basically run through a list of everything you'll be able to see within these screenshots, and this will include new gear, gear talents, weapon skill menus and more. So let's go through it all. So let's start off with native weapon abilities. So on the assault rifles you'll be able to see health damage plus a certain percentage. So I'm not sure exactly what this means, but it sounds like to me that when you do damage then you get a certain percentage of health back as a result of the damage you do. For example, on the high-end black market AKM it was 28.5%. With LMGs we get damage to targets out of cover, just like the Division 1, and a certain percentage. For example, in these screenshots you'll get the black market RPK 74 and that's got 15%. And then we've got SMGs which has got a critical hit chance, and again just like the Division, on here you'll be able to see 14% on the high-end Vector SBR 45 ACP. Those are the only ones you can actually see out of these screenshots. We don't know about the other weapons, at least from not these screenshots at this point. Moving on to weapon talents. Now what you'll see are weapon talents I've not come across before. The first one is Vindictive. This was on the assault rifle, and this says killing an enemy with a status effect applied increases all group members' critical hit chance. So that would be really good if you had like a fire turret or something like that. Then everyone else's crit hit chance would be increased. Something like an LMG build or an assault rifle build would be really good with this particular Vindictive talent, hence probably why it's on an assault rifle. We've then got Reformation, which is on an SMG, which says headshot kills increase skill, repair and healing by 25% for 25 seconds. Moving on, we've got the LMG talent Optimist. We don't know if this is just an LMG talent, but it was on an LMG, and this was weapon damage increases as the magazine lowers. That's a really cool one, and it makes sense this will be on an LMG because LMGs generally have higher magazines, so it might be a good idea to have a magazine where you don't actually increase your magazine size if you've got Optimist, and that way you're getting the full benefit of this talent. Moving on, we've got Range, which was again on LMG. Damage is increased the further you are from the target. That would again be really cool. That would be great on a sniper, maybe on a semi-automatic weapon. That would be really good as well, like the FAL or somewhat along the lines of that. And then we've got Killer, which was an SMG talent, which says killing an enemy with a critical hit increases weapon damage. Now this to me seems very powerful, considering that SMGs generally are going to have the highest amount of crit out of any weapon in the game. So this is probably going to proc very often. I imagine we don't actually know what the cap for crit hit chance is in the Division 2, I don't believe. I assume it's going to be like the Division at 60%. So if you're getting near that, then 60% of the time when you kill an enemy with, you're going to be able to actually increase your weapon damage. We don't know how much that percentage is at this point though, so we'll have to wait and see. Next up we've got gear talents. So the first one was self-adjusting. This is on the high-end backpack, and this was armor regeneration increased by 20 what? We just don't know at this point, and we don't know how much each segment of armor is, so it could be that each segment is 10, so you'd only get 2 back, or it could be 5 and you get 4 back. You see where I'm going with this. Next up we got Efficient, again on the high-end backpack. Using an armor kit after your armor is broken does, but we don't actually know what else it says. Unfortunately the screenshots didn't confirm that. We then got Bloodsucker, which is on a high-end vest. Health on kill increased by your maximum health. We then got Braced, which is on the high-end knee pads. Entering cover increases weapon handling. Now, one thing I do hope is that in the Division 2, the knee pad talents are better than what they were in the Division 1. There really was no good knee pad talents apart from short bows, which had a good talent, but aside from that, everything else was pretty bad, to be honest. We then got Terminate, which was on the high-end gloves. Depleting an enemy's armor increases skill damage. That would be very good in PvE, I imagine. And then we've got Vital, which is superior knee pads. Sorry, was on the superior knee pads, which are not high end. They're the one before. They're like your purple gear, and it's health increased by 20. 20 what? Again, we just don't know. It could be 20%. It could be 20 points. We don't know. But at the moment, again, these are just kind of placeholders in the sense that they've not been fully worked or they've not been fully completed. So I'm sure we'll know what that is if it does come into the game in the end, of course. Moving on, we've got gear attributes. So this one has the backpack, high-end backpack, which is skill power, crit hit damage and bonus armor. We then got the vest, the high-end vest, which is crit hit damage, skill power and health. We got the mask, which was a superior mask. It had no attributes, just brand set attributes. So that would suggest to me that gear attributes for superior gear doesn't actually come with sort of different attributes. You just get the brand set attributes. We then got the knee pads, high-end knee pads, which has skill power and cooldown reduction. What cooldown, we don't know. That could be skill. That could be your specialization. We just don't know. And then gloves, high-end gloves. We've got crit hit chance, and SMG damage. I imagine gloves are going to be very similar to the Division, but bonus armor, I think armor was actually in the base game of the Division, and it got taken out because it wasn't that good, and that might be the case for the Division 2, because from what I've seen, armor is very OP. If you don't have armor, then you get melted so quickly in the Division 2. So I think this is going to be a must attribute within the game when it comes out. Okay, moving on to brand sets. I think out of the 5 here, we already know of 3 of them, but I'll just go over all of them with you. So we got the Gila Guard, which is Gila Guard. I probably said that completely wrong. And the talents on this are stagger resistance, hazard protection, and total armor. We've then got Overlord armaments, which is damage to elites, total armor, and rifle damage. We then got the Sokolov Concern, which is critical hit chance, SMG damage, critical hit damage. That is going to be pretty strong in PvP with an SMG and with the other talent that we had before. That's going to be pretty strong. We then got China Light Industries Corporation, which is hazard protection, shotgun damage, and cooldown reduction. And then we got Arialda Holdings, probably said that wrong. Accuracy, headshot damage, marksman rifle damage. So that sounds like to me as a sniper sort of build, or maybe a rifle build, perhaps. So I think Gila Guard and Sokolov Concern are the 2 that I've never heard of. And I'm looking forward to using Sokolov Concern, at least in PvP, because that's going to be really, really strong. Okay, so moving on to the skill information, we do get to see the shields, the 2 shields here. We got Crusader, and this says the Crusader shield is a lighter shield that allows all primary weapons to be equipped while it's equipped, but exposes the agent's legs. And then we got Bulwark. The Bulwark shield provides near full body coverage, but its bulk means that only sidearms may be used while it's equipped. And the stats, we have health, cooldown, active regeneration, and holstered regeneration. And the mod slots, we've got circuit board slot, hard coating slot, gyro slot, and FX slot. Now the FX slot to me is the most interesting. That suggests to me that we might get some sort of special effect microtransactions within the Division 2. I know that one of the special effects comes as part of the pre-order for one of the special editions, and you'll get that on the Seeker Mine, I believe. So we do get these FX slots on every piece of skill, so this could be a microtransaction within the game. We just don't know at this point. Moving on to Seeker Mine, we only get to see the airburst here, which says the airburst Seeker Mine rolls towards its target and launches an explosive burst into the air, reaching close proximity. Stats are damage, cooldown, and health. And in the mod slots, we've got drive slot, targeting slot, payload slot, and FX slot. Moving on, we've got the Hive, and we've got the Booster, Restorer, and the Wasp. We know all about these, so I'm not going to go into too much details about these. But the stats for these were buff amount, buff duration, charges, range, duration, cooldown, and health. So quite a lot of stats there. And the mod slots were drone slot, launcher slot, system slot, and then we got the FX slot as well. Moving on to the drone, and it was the Defender drone we actually get to see within these screenshots. The stats are deflect chance, cooldown, health, and duration. We also get to see the Striker, and the stats for the Striker is health, cooldown, duration, and health. And then the slots are battery, the hull slot, feed slot, and then FX slot. I've got really no idea what any of these slots are, but I imagine they're going to increase certain aspects of your skill, make your skill better or worse, and that sort of thing. So some other things to note, which you may have actually noticed in the screenshots, is there is a dye slot. This can be found on the purple Javelina mask with the spray paint logo. And it's also found on the high-end Nimble knee protectors. It's found on the gloves as well. So we are likely going to be getting sort of dye slots, or at least camos, for every piece of gear within the game, which again is something I said about a long time ago, something I thought would be coming. So if this is to be what's coming in the Division 2, then that is confirmed at this point. And we've also got the Defensive Protocol mod slot, seen on the high-end vest. We've got the Offensive System mod slot, seen on the superior knee pads. We've got the Toggle Normalized Stats button, seen on the inventory menu. We've also got the contaminated crafting cache, which I'm sure you've seen in the screenshots, at level 30, and it does say in the description of these contains 4 worn items. We don't actually know what that means. It may well be a placeholder, we just don't know at this point. But yeah, I mean, those are the other little things to note, but there's a lot of stuff here, so if you want to stop the video and obviously go back and see if there's anything I missed, then please let me know. Now, I just want to say that a lot of this stuff was found on Reddit. I actually had these screenshots for way before the post was on Reddit, but it would have took me forever to go through this. Someone's actually done this, and I'm kind of going off what they've said. So what I'll do is I will leave the Reddit post in the description below. So much props to the person who made this post. The actual person who listed everything like this for this video basically was RedTerror98. So go give him some love on Reddit, because it was all of his doing. I would have got there eventually, but he just made it much more easier for me and for you guys so that I can just kind of bring it out. Hopefully you enjoyed this video though. If you did, drop a like, it does help me out. And of course, until the next one, Epic out.